Detroit can obtain their 34th win of the season and their 9th straight win if they win against the Denver Nuggets. And this Denver Nuggets team is coming off of a back-to-back where they're right now playing against the Milwaukee Bucks about halftime, up by 3. And if they play a tough game all the way till the end, Detroit's going to have some fresh legs and have the advantage right there. But Detroit, has a great chance at obtaining their 9th win. You might say, but this is a Nikola Jokic team. But people could have said that yesterday about the Boston Celtics. That's a Jason Tatum team. Cade Cunningham came in, looked like about the best player on the floor, no matter what Jason Tatum was doing. Honestly, Asar Thompson was almost looking like the best player on the floor. Jason Tatum, 27 points, but it was still Asar Thompson and Cade Cunningham dominating that game. And it wasn't just those two. It was the whole team. It was a team effort. They were playing harder. They were leading in fast break points. They were leading in bench points. They were leading in second chance points. They were leading in points in the paint. And those stats that I just listed are keys when you're trying to win basketball games. You can't win if you don't get the effort stats. And we're going to talk a little bit about how Detroit and Denver are very similar when it comes to those stats. And these are the stats I look at after a game because it's going to show you who put in more effort. And the Detroit Pistons, through their 7-game or 8-game win streak now, generally win in all 3 of these categories on a nightly basis. Denver isn't going to be a team that lets you just easily outwork them. They're a team that works very hard. Fast break points. Denver, number 1 in the league at 19.9. Detroit at 18.7. So these are both teams that like to get the rebound and push. When you think about Nikola Jokic, when you think about Cade Cunningham, those aren't the speediest guys in the game, as we all know. But they are guys that can grab the rebound and push the tempo up court, throwing the defense off. They can outlet pass it up. They can throw it full court, touchdown style, all the way down to a runner for a dunk. Malik Beasley compared Cade Cunningham to Nikola Jokic. And that's one of the first comparisons I can think of, is when they get the rebound, they push. And they make sure they can get those fast break buckets so they don't even have to worry about setting up in the half court. And with points in the paint, Denver leads that category at 59.5, just about 60, and Detroit at 51.7. It's about a 10-point swing there, about 5 buckets more Denver gets in the paint. And usually Detroit's dominated, so I'm really curious to see what they can do to stop a Nikola Jokic, stop an Aaron Gordon, stop a pass to Jamal Murray, cuts inside. That's going to be a big challenge for Detroit, especially a Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. I'm pretty sure Paul Reed might be able to get some minutes in this game to have that energy, to have that impact, to have that force, have that aggressiveness. And the one that Detroit single-handedly is leading Denver in is second chance points. 14.8 to 14.5. So, like I said, single-handedly, no, it's not even that big of a difference. It's 0.3. And in this stat, look at all these teams that are in the 14s from 17 to 7. So just a couple games where you're off your mark from second chance points, or a couple games where you're absolutely nuclear, you could shoot up or down the standings, be in the top 10 or in the bottom half of the league. Aaron Gordon's a guy I've wanted on the Pistons for a long time, or at least that style of play. And we have ours in Asar Thompson. Absolutely insane point of attack defender, able to take the best scorer on the opposing team. So look at this play on Giannis, one of the best interior scorers. Usually when Giannis rolls, he can usually push through a guy. But as you can see here, brick wall. Limits him, forces him to go towards the baseline, has to end up putting up a jumper here. And that's just not a great shot from Giannis. Usually you want him scoring inside. But honestly, even with the height difference, their play styles are eerily similar. Aaron Gordon obviously has more of a willingness to shoot, but both lob threats, both great playing off, great passers in Jokic and Cade Cunningham. So the parallels, they run pretty deep with those two guys. But Detroit is no longer a team where you can just walk all over them and you can take the night off when you're playing against them and somehow come away with a win. When you're going against Detroit, if you don't put in the effort, if you're not going for those offensive rebounds, if you're not running in the fast break, you are going to get embarrassed, and it's going to be all over social media. Boston did not want to be the 8th straight win for Detroit. They did not. Even though Jaylen Brown was out, they were getting upset. Obviously, their NBA players are going to get upset when they're challenged, but they were frustrated just about all night long against that Detroit team. And I could see something very similar happening against this Nuggets team. They don't want to be the 9th straight win. They want to eliminate that streak. And they also know, kind of like with the 28 game losing streak, you didn't want to be that team. And if you lost, you'd be made fun of online. I don't think you'd be made fun of for losing to Detroit if Detroit gets 9 straight, especially because people are going to say, like, Detroit's been earning this. They're a good team, but they don't want that negative connotation towards their team all over social media, all over SportsCenter, ESPN, because everyone's talking about the Detroit Pistons right now. So I'm really curious to see the effort level from both teams, how Denver looks coming off the back-to-back, and if Dennis Schroeder is out, how Marcus Sasser can continue to fill that role. And honestly, looked great against Boston, was a little spark plug there. Thank you, Boston, for giving us Marcus Sasser, even though maybe we should have gotten like a GG Jackson. Anyways, that's beyond the point, or I guess besides the point. I'm really looking forward to that game. We're going to be breaking it down on the Leggy Sports YouTube channel once the clock hits zeros. Or honestly, if the game's out of hand, the last 30 seconds or so, we'll already be started. We'll get something out so you can get all of the up-to-date info on what happened in that game. So check out the Leggy Sports YouTube channel after the game, because we're going to be breaking down the key plays, talking about the matchups, talking about the stats, and obviously, like I always do, talking about the points in the paint, those effort stats, and seeing how they compare these two teams that play with high effort and high energy every night. Go Pistons. We're looking for 9 straight. Have a great night.